We start now in Somalia, where reports indicate that gunmen have taken an unknown number of hostages in an attack on a hotel in Mogadishu. Now, the attack began with a huge explosion after a suicide bomber detonated an explosive-laden vehicle at the gate of the Naso Hablod hotel near the capital's busy KM4 junction. Gunmen then stormed their way inside the building. Heavy gunfire could be heard as security guards tried to fight off the militants. There has been no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack, but fingers pointed towards al-Shabaab, who of course have been waging a deadly insurgency across Somalia. They are also known to intensify their attacks during the month of Ramadan. Well, let's get you the latest now on that attack. We're joined by our correspondent, Abdulaziz Bilo. He is live for us in Mogadishu. Abdulaziz, firstly, has this hostage situation been resolved? Just update us on the latest of what's happening there at the moment.
Well, Lindy, we've been receiving conflicting reports regarding the deadly attack by al-Shabaab. The al-Shabaab actually has rather claimed responsibility for this attack now. All the information that we have received is that a huge explosion outside the main gate killed almost a dozen people. That's the report that we've received, that almost a dozen people died immediately shortly after the big explosion that was not heard in Mogadishu in recent months. Now, until we came to this live broadcast, occasional explosion and sporadic gunfire could still be heard coming out from Hotel Naso Hablod, located in the downtown Mogadishu along the busy kilometer 4 junction here of Mogadishu. Now, security forces are still engaging the militants who are believed to be 3 or 4 in number, who are still holed up inside that hotel. Now, shortly before we came to this live cross also, we talked to the spokesperson of the Mogadishu municipality. Said that security forces had managed to neutralize 3 attackers and only one of them was still holed up inside the area. So you couldn't be able to give us clear statistics on the number of casualties yet on that hotel, but the attack is still ongoing. Lindy, we can still hear from where we are standing right now occasional gunfire from our studios here in Mogadishu. Now, the attack came almost 24 days after the al-Shabaab launched a similar deadly attack of this magnitude on Hotel Ambassador. Now, the attack are part of the so-called Ramadan offensives that the time the al-Shabaab says they are going to launch more deadly attacks here in the capital. So for now, Lindy, we are still monitoring this ongoing story and will keep our audience updated on the latest.
And I suppose the frightening reality of the Ramadan offensive is that al-Shabaab means it when they say that they will continue to attack through this holy period. And of course, this latest attack coming amidst the raging debate over a planned withdrawal of Ugandan troops who currently constitute a large number of that AMISOM contingent. But there's a lot of worry, of course, that Somali forces on their own cannot secure Mogadishu without foreign assistance.
Well, Lindy, the news of the withdrawal of Uganda from the African Union force here, AMISOM, has elicited mixed reactions here in Mogadishu. Yesterday, we interviewed quite a number of people, including the locals and legislators, who expressed concern, indeed, that Somalia was not, the Somali forces rather, were not in any position to take charge of the country's national security, bearing in mind that Uganda is the largest of the troop contributing country members here in Somalia with 6,200 troops. Now, it's part of the African Union force and it's in charge of the strategic regions, especially the capital, Mogadishu, and its surrounding regions. So lawmakers here in Somalia, Lindy, have expressed concerns regarding the Ugandan pullout. Is it an end to a decade-long mission? That's the question many in Somalia are asking after Kampala announced it's winding up its military mission in Somalia by December 2017. With 6,200 troops on the ground, Uganda was the first country to send its troops to Somalia to support former President Abdullah Yusuf's transitional federal government. It dislodged the militants from the capital, Mogadishu, and surrounding regions. Currently, authorities say the process of rebuilding the Somali military is ongoing, but lawmakers say any pullout will undermine military gains made in the country.
The announcement by Uganda to pull out its forces from Somalia came to us as a surprise. Uganda is the only country that received a parliamentary approval to come to Somalia as AMISOM in 2006. By then, the country had no security forces. Presently, much has changed, but the country is still in need of African Union peacekeepers.
The militant group al-Shabaab has attacked Ugandan forces in Somalia on most occasions. In 2015, it overran this military post in Janale, killing scores of soldiers. It also claimed responsibility for the 2010 bombings in Kampala that left 76 people dead, as punishment for Uganda's involvement in Somalia. But almost a decade later, al-Shabaab remains a potent and deadly threat to Somalia's UN-backed government, with recent brazen attacks like this in downtown Mogadishu that claimed 16 lives, including 2 lawmakers.
So many challenges lie ahead. The integration of the army is still ongoing. Clan influence is still a major concern within the ranks of the military. The current issues forcing Uganda to withdraw must be addressed soon. Sudden pullout will result to great losses, one that the Somali government is not ready for now.
This is not the first time Uganda is threatening to withdraw its forces from Somalia. A recent 20% funding cut from the European Union has raised serious concerns, with troops contributing countries calling for AMISOM to be reviewed and its status changed from that of an African Union force into a full United Nations mission. But despite insecurity, Somalia is planning to conduct its parliamentary and presidential polls later in the year. And according to experts, the issue of security will be among the key issues that will need to be addressed by the presidential hopefuls. Abdulaziz Bilo, CCTV, Mogadishu, Somalia. Well, Lindy, as you've seen in the report, authorities in Somalia have expressed concern regarding that possible pull-out by Uganda. This is not the first time that Kampala is saying that it's going to withdraw its forces. Now, experts here in the city too are saying that the Somali government has failed to prioritize the urgent needs. Now, in this case, the fight against the al-Shabaab. The experts are saying that the Somali government has been relying more on the African Union forces in terms of security, and they're saying that it's time that the Somali National Army was indeed rebuilt so that they could be able to better fight the al-Shabaab, Lindy, in this case.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks very much. Abdulaziz Bilo, live for us in Mogadishu.